I know. Hello? Mic check. Oh, this boy is dead. Fine. Oh, look at it now. Cool. Hello, hello. I know it's been a while. Life's been getting kind of busy, just doing more things. Haven't really had too much time to record, honestly. And I know it kind of sounds dumb, probably is a little bit dumb because recording really only takes an hour maybe to do, and then I edit for 30 minutes. So maybe a little overestimate, maybe it's 2 hours of work to set aside, but I just recently haven't been in the mood to do it, I guess. But I do have a lot to say. A lot of things have happened, and I think the biggest time consumptioner is that I got a girlfriend. Yay! Thank you, thank you. I know a lot of people didn't believe it. But yeah, so I got a girlfriend, and not only that, she's awesome and really pretty. Y'all will never get to see her because this is not a family channel, unless special circumstances happen. But yeah. But it's been good. So let me actually pull up my notes. I guess I should do a weekly rating, maybe almost like a monthly rating, because just of how much time has passed. I would say ROI, rate of improvement, probably. I don't know, because it really depends. Like getting a girlfriend is a huge improvement in my life, to be honest. So I guess I honestly have to say like a 10. I originally was gonna go with like a 6, but I think I guess this is kind of crazy to say, but asking somebody to be your girlfriend that you think might be the last time that you ever will has to be like one of the biggest life-changing moments in your life, right? Like, can it really just be a 6? I don't know. It's all arbitrary at the end of the day. But also, I will have to say, I think happiness level is at a 10 as well. Other than the markets absolutely going on their period and hitting so much red, life's been really good. Like, pretty happy with my life right now. But let me pull up my notes. It's been about, I think I've missed 3 or 4. I missed this last weekend too. Let's go back. Wow. Yeah, so it was. It's when I kind of first started talking to her. I stopped making videos. But let's start from the top. So I talked about face maxing. I guess I will say this. It is kind of weird knowing that she's going to watch this. Because it's like a little bit, I think it's like the analogy of a magician never reveals his secrets. Like if you know how I do certain things, I feel like it's not as mystical. It's not as impressive. Because anybody can do it. You just have to put the time and effort into it. But I looked at face maxing or maxing because I always felt like my face was unbalanced. Like even when I smile now, like this side is way more developed than this side, my left side. And so I wanted to even them out. I think that also that this side of my face is a little bit, has a harder slope versus this side kind of comes down and then across. Maybe that's like a jaw difference. But yeah, so I wanted to kind of even out my face. And so I started doing these facial exercises like a lot of people do. Like I guess there are a couple that you can do. They can do like, you just stretch out and then you go like this. And honestly, maybe it's all BS, but I think I have seen improvement in my muscle on this side. I try to do more reps. It's like anything. You try to do more reps on one side if it's weaker, just to help quicken the process of balancing. But yeah, so normally what I like to do is I just like to overextend it. I go like this. And I just like really focus on trying to use this muscle right here. And you try not to pull, because like sometimes you can use this muscle to help pull this direction. You can if you want, depending on what muscle you're trying to build, but I try not to. And then to get really good at the high T, you just pull to the outside. I look really dumb. I'm looking at myself do this and I look really dumb, but that's what I do. I probably do around 50 a day each side. I don't really have a set schedule of when I do them. It's almost like a tick now for me just to do it. So yeah, I guess it's been like 4 weeks of doing this. Yeah, 4 weeks. Wow. I said nothing learned is painless. I don't know if I agree with that looking back at it now, because I think the best way to learn is from learning from someone else. Like if you can listen to someone else's experience and understand the lesson versus having to go through the experience yourself to learn the lesson, most of the time I think I'd rather not go through the experience and just hear about someone else's. All right, don't hold yourself back. Don't stop yourself. I do believe that a lot of the times, like when I say I want to go do something, I'm also the same person that's saying why I shouldn't go do those things. Most of the time it isn't an external demotivator. And so it's just I was telling actually my friend Matt, he came yesterday or 2 days ago, and I was telling him that I think I mentioned this too, I've been really trying to focus on reasons to do things and more so focus on the weighting scale versus the quantity comparison. Like there's always going to be a million reasons not to do something and a million reasons to do something. You just have to choose one and say that's the reason you did it. Yeah. All right, you get what you asked for, not what you deserve. 100% believe that. I guess I'll self-expose. I don't know if this is like an expose, but I think when I was negotiating for my salary, I asked for a signing bonus, and they said they didn't do signing bonuses, but then they gave me a signing bonus. And so I would have never gotten a signing bonus if I didn't ask for one. So, and I think this concept can be taken to 1,000 different things. Like, I don't do it anymore, but approaching girls, like, no girl's ever just going to give you their number. You have to go ask for their number. No, I guess that's also the same concept of, like, nothing is free in life, because that's basically if it's free, it's a giveaway. And maybe you'll get samples, but they're never just going to hand out a whole, whatever, cookie, right, if you don't ask for them. And most of the time it's probably going to be a no, but you never know if you don't ask. I guess another analogy is like every shot you don't take, you miss, right? But every shot you do take doesn't necessarily mean you miss, but it gives you a chance to make. I wrote the Andromeda paradox. I think the Andromeda, I don't quite remember it from the top of my head, but I think what it is that if you're standing at a certain location and looking at a star above, if you were running, and as soon as, like, let's say you guys occupy the exact same X, Y, Z coordinate, and you're running across, and then you look up at that same time, what you'll see versus the person standing is two separate things. And that's the paradox. Let me just see. Yeah, it's exactly what I said. So it's pretty crazy. Like, why do you see different things when you're moving versus when you're still? Empathetic versus sympathetic. I wrote I'm a very empathetic person. I think depending on the situation, I'm sympathetic. But in general, I do think I'm in touch with my emotions, but I'm just also in control of my emotions. I wrote everything requires practice to be good at it. Agree. I think it's a simple enough statement. Oh, okay. I was listening to some podcast, and the guest had said tyranny is the main form of government. Democracy always translates to totalitarianism, and then totalitarianism. Wow, that's a mouthful. So he was saying that democracy translates into a totalitarianism, and that eventually totalitarianism is basically a monarchy, and a tyranny is just a monarchy that abuses their power, in my opinion. And so it's kind of interesting. It is interesting how there's a lot of protests nowadays about Trump being basically a monarchy or taking like over, trying to be a king, I guess. I can see it happening through an economical standpoint, but I don't really think it's going to happen through politics, I guess. I think it's going to be people that get really rich in these next 20 to 30 years, and since they're going to get rich off of resources, and then those resources are going to start, basically they're going to become the leaders because they control these resources. Embarrassment is an interesting emotion. Embarrassment is an emotion we give ourselves. I think there's an argument to be made that you give every emotion to yourself because you control how you react to certain things, but maybe emotions are supposed to be uncontrollable reactions. But going back to embarrassment is an interesting emotion. It is interesting because you can also feel embarrassment for someone else. Like you don't even have to be in this situation, but you can relate to the embarrassment. So I think I'm trying to think of other emotions that can be done for. I guess you can be happy for someone else too. But it's just weird, like how do you get embarrassed? If someone's dying on stage and you know them, I guess maybe I'm not embarrassed of them. I would more so just be sad for them. I don't know. Emotions are interesting though. Money buys time. Maybe. I think money buys freedom. I guess maybe freedom gives you the time to do what you want. Maybe money buys choice. I definitely agree with that. But I think time is a little bit of a stretch. Vocab word of the day, ideology. Ideology means cause of. So I was reading my dream book by Sigmund Freud, and he kept saying the ideology of dreams, what causes dreams. So I thought it was an interesting word. I'd never really, maybe it's ideology. I've never really heard of that term before. Yeah, and then this was a little bit more current events. It's kind of old events now, but I was basically saying that I've stopped approaching new girls, and I've dropped everyone for the girl I'm dating now. Yeah. I created a new text note for her. I did do that. I'm not trying to get too lovey-dovey on this channel, though. Don't hesitate. If you genuinely question, then trust your gut. Do it. That's interesting, because from the way I wrote it, I think there's two interpretations. I think what I meant to say was if I'm questioning something, then I should trust my gut, and then not, I guess, like if I'm questioning something, I think it's for twofold, because actually my friend Matt was saying that the reason it's actually good that I'm questioning my relationship so much, because it shows that I care, and it shows that it's on my mind, and I'm thinking about ways to make it better, versus questioning in a way of almost like insecurity, like, oh, this is happening, this is bad, blah, blah, blah. I think if you're questioning a decision like that, then you should also trust your gut and not do it. But I do think if you're not questioning anything at all, then maybe you're just a little bit to go with the flow. I guess you're not like, I guess that's not the way I want to live my life. I think people can, but I think if you don't question things in life, then you're leaving it up to fate a little bit too much. I won't count it yet, but I think I've completed my goal of sending. One of my goals of sending was to find my wife. Not saying she's my wife, but just in case you're watching. I'm going to have to make another spam YouTube channel. I think that's what I'm realizing. Social media is a highlight of successes. Agree. Oh, Elon Musk said this. I think it's an interesting quote. He goes, well, there's like a lot of theories about what life actually is, and yeah, like what's reality? Like, do you think there's a multiverse? Do you think there's parallel universes? Do you think, like, honestly, I think my theory about the Big Bang is that, because the Big Bang is a large explosion of energy, basically creating our entire universe, but we know that energy can never be destroyed. It can only be changed into other forms. So where would that much of energy have been if there was nothing before? So there had to be something in my mind. Now, this is where I think it gets too theoretical, or like too put on your science hat, or like put on your conspiracy hat, even though it's not conspiracy, this is just kind of belief. I almost think that there's two universes that just keep, one shrinks, the other one's expanding, and they're just converting energy through that way. But I don't think you can ever prove that, because I think our universe is currently expanding right now. But, okay, yeah. But I guess I brought this all up because Elon Musk had a quote. He thinks life is a simulation, and he said, if it's a simulation, then let's make it an interesting one. And I just think that's kind of funny. I wrote, I need to find passion in what I do because that will make it easier to be motivated, but regardless, the work has to be done. Hard work, showing up are minimums. I guess that's true. I think there's certain aspects of being able to trick yourself into finding things entertaining, or changing your initial perspective on things. And I don't think those tactics are harmful. I think depending on how you use them, they could be. But I think those same harmful tendencies that you can use them for can be applied in a good way as well. It's almost like superheroes and supervillains. They're both people with powers, except one decides to be good and help people, and one decides to rob and steal and do bad things. Idolize your future self, the better you. It's kind of interesting. I do believe in manifestation, and that if I want to become somebody, that I'm more likely to become them because I think well, I think you can think it two ways. You think you are that already, so then you start building those habits, and then you become that. Or you think that you want to become that, so that then that starts to, I feel like, manifest in your consciousness when making decisions. You're like, oh, I want to be a kinder person. So then when you get into situations, your brain's like, be kinder, and then you do be more kind. Yeah, I guess that's what I think personal growth is. I thought this was a funny quote, too, by Kanye West. He goes, I can't wish her the best because she'd end up with me. That was really funny. Oh, okay, this is from my dream book. The main difference in waking state versus asleep is when you're awake, you think in concepts, while asleep, you think in images. What characterizes the waking state is the fact that thought activity takes place in concepts and not images. I never really thought about it like that. Like, I guess when I close my eyes, I can picture things and imagine things, but I guess it's the same thing as when I'm dreaming, because I'm closing my eyes and just letting my brain wander. It is pretty cool, though. Okay, on to the next text notes. Oh, wow. Oh, no, wait. Oh, yeah, I'm missing a whole week. Ripperoni. 3-9-3-17. I didn't make a text note for this last week. Yeah, I didn't make a text note for... Why did I do 3-9-3-17? That doesn't even make sense. Should have been 3-16. Or 3-15, and then 16 to 28. Yeah, I didn't do it. Wow. Okay, this does have quite a bit, though. I read all my facial exercises working. Yes. Win or loss, you should still learn. I agree with that too. I think I hate sore winners and I hate sore losers, but I guess I don't know why I brought them up. Win or loss, you should still learn. I do believe in learning from success. Like once you understand, it's almost more important to learn from your successes because you've already figured out the formula. You just have to recreate what you did. Versus learning from failure is learning what not to do again. So there's probably a million ways to do something wrong and a million ways, but still less than the ways to do it wrong to do something right. And so once you figure out one way to do something right, at least stick with it for a little bit until you try exploring other possibly better alternatives. Everybody says think bigger. For ideas, I agree, but for planning, think smaller. I think what I meant by this is, I don't know if y'all have these thoughts. You're like, I would like to create this sort of project. Like I want to create a note taking app, and I'm thinking big ideas. Like how am I going to implement this sort of feature? What features do I want? Right? I'm not really looking at the nitty gritty of okay, how is this feature really going to work? What sort of search is it going to do? How is it going to store information? I think it's a little bit more the nitty gritty. But I think for planning, that's what you have to do. To have a really good plan, you have to have alternative plans B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way down, and you really have to think about the decision trees of what could happen. And I think that's what leads to success. And also not just the decision trees. Like I think you can make decision trees for every 15 minutes, what happens, but I want to start getting down to the seconds, to the minutes. I think what's reasonable is probably like every 5 minutes, and then eventually get down to every minute. I want to be planning every single minute in my day, and that doesn't mean that I have to follow the plan, right? But having a plan in mind allows you to be more disciplined because decisions have already been made. So if you're like, what do I do? Reference the plan. If I already know what I want to do, then I can follow that plan, or I can go with what I already did plan. But having a plan, having a decision already made, I think will make a more positive life. I will be improving at a faster rate. And yeah, I just think it's better overall to be a better planner. It means to have a better life. And I guess some people outsource that. Some people have other people plan for them. But I think having a plan, I guess that's the ability that I want to have to make good plans. I wrote, it sucks not everybody in the world can afford a house. It sucks that people can't even afford to own over rent. I think I was just saying this in terms of, like my cousin, he's 30 something, he's 31 now, he's turning 31, and he lives in an apartment. I want to own my own land. Like I don't want to live in an apartment. That just sounds kind of such a sad life long term. And then I went to Argentina, I went to Brazil recently, and like in Brazil, we went to Rio, and all the favelas, they're not even government sanctioned. People just take brick and mortar and build. And they don't even own, you don't own anything. I guess legally, you own what you can protect. But it's just kind of sad. And I guess I was realizing how fortunate I am to be able to own things. And I guess I have dreams to own more. I wish I could live in a city to walk. Chains don't survive in cities. I don't know what I mean by this. Chains don't survive in cities. Oh, okay, I do know what I mean. So I was saying that, and I guess this is kind of false, like fast food chains or just like restaurant chains don't survive as much because in smaller cities, it allows walk-by traffic to occur, right? Like if you're driving in a car, you can see a sign and you're like, okay, maybe I'll go there once. But if you're walking by and you see it and you're like, oh, I'm kind of hungry, you could step in, right? It's really, I guess the barrier of entry is a lot lower. And so I think in cities, you have this, whatever, mom and pop shops have a greater chance of survival. Argentina is the Italy of South America. I really believe Argentina, where did we go? We went to Buenos Aires. Was beautiful. It genuinely was a European city. I didn't know this. 60% of the citizens there are Italian, and then the rest of like 40% is your other Europeans. They actually don't have a lot of black people, if not zero, because they didn't have slavery there. And the main reason they didn't have slavery is because their main trade good was cows, and you don't need large populations to herd cattle. And so it was kind of interesting. They really are European. They're pretty pale, like white people, and yeah, they're basically white. I wrote, America did not build for beauty. America has a destructive culture. I think it's a little bit due to lack of religion nowadays. I think it also stems from the belief of manifest destiny. When we are colonizers, or not colonizers, but when we initially colonized the Americas, we thought we should go all the way to the west because all the land is ours. I think that same sort of mentality is a little bit what makes America cutthroat, and I think that's what makes us better because we do normally have the best rise to the top, since it's one person's willpower versus another person's will, and in most situations, the one with the greater will wins. So I do think that's good, but I think what's bad is our disrespect towards old people, our disrespect towards people that have accomplished things in life, and we're now promoting people that just do dumb things online and get a bunch of views because people think it's funny to be stupid, right? We really need to start promoting education, maybe not education, but intelligence more, and we need to start promoting people that can actually accomplish something in life. I think there's a lot of, like, I would say iShowSpeed, great content creator. He initially was just doing dumb things, like he would go to Halloween houses and whatever to work, and like that's really dumb. But I think he has used that influence now, and I think he was inspired by Luffy, honestly, to start going around the world and showing different cultures. I think that's a great thing to do. And I guess I'm thinking, like, if I was him, could I have done it earlier? Maybe not. He definitely wouldn't have had as many fans as he does now. I think soccer also really blew him up, and his whole connection with Ronaldo. But it really is interesting, his marketing, how it's been. I wrote Austin Public Library. I heard it was really cool. I do want to go there. I said, I'm afraid of failure. I'm not afraid to fail. I think failure is when you give up. Failing is just a part of the process, right? I develop for my work, and I don't expect everything I create to work on the first time, but I do expect to be able to create a working product. I guess that's the main difference. To create a memorable experience, give all the senses and input. I was reading, what's the book name? I was reading, I think it was like something about thinking outside the box, and the author was saying that Disney, the main reason that you can smell popcorn, you see all the lights, you see, I guess you can't taste, but it was saying that it tries to attack all 5 of your senses, because if all 5 of your senses have a unique experience, then that experience is more likely to be remembered, right, as a favorite one. I guess even if it was a favorite, maybe you smelled some like really bad Camel Dome. And I say that because we did an escape room with my family, and we had to order these bottles, and there was like different perfumes, and one of them was Camel Dome. Like they didn't tell us this though, and my dad went to smell it, and like I'll remember that for the rest of my life. It was so funny. The removal of one sense can change yourself. For example, like if you're in complete silence, then don't you feel like your ears are more aware of things happening around? We met somebody named Gilberto Gil. Oh, we were at the airport, and this guy was I don't know. I guess I'm not really making fun of that. I just think it's interesting what different cultures appreciate. But this guy was saying that he bought a statue of Mary for this, like his niece. And I was thinking, if I was his niece, like, why would I want the statue of Mary? I would rather have like a toy truck, or like, I guess not for a girl, but like a doll. Like, why wouldn't you just buy me a doll? Instead, you bought me a statue of Mary that probably is just gonna stare at me at night. I don't know. I wrote Parvata. I think it's an artist. Display glasses, VR for workspaces. I think this could be the future. Maybe not for the next 30 years though. I think initially I thought it was a closer timeline, but I just don't think people are putting effort in that space anymore. The hype's kind of over. The AI hype is definitely happening right now, but we'll see where it's at in the next 10 years. Weekly game jam. Yeah, that's another thing. See, just a lot more things have been taking up my time. I really want to start doing more projects and more passion projects to fix things in my own life, and that's just going to take time. And I need to start carving out that time. I'm also still trying to work out as often as possible. I haven't worked out today, but I want to. I'm trying to cut down to 195. I'm currently around 203. I'll hover between 202 to 205, 204. And I don't know if I really care to keep all my size. I just want to be a lot more cut. I think if I cut and lose some size, then I'd be okay with that. I'm not going to create success because I'm doing it for money. Oh, I think I wrote this in the aspect of my games, or not my games, but my projects. I'm not going to, if my main goal is just to make money, I don't think I'll ever make money from it. I think my main goal has to be from some sort of passion. It's a lot of video games too. Like, they'll kill their game because they're trying to make more money from it. Like, I think Clash Royale had a great example of this, where they dropped heroes recently, and like nobody wanted heroes. Like, if they had just kept making Evos, the whole community would have been happy, nothing would have changed. But then they wanted to drop heroes, so there's another aspect of pay to win in the game, and it just killed their game. And I think also with like Brawl Stars, there's some times where they'll just won't make a quick patch change on a broken champion because they want people to buy that character and they make money from it. And it's kind of dumb, but I can understand both sides to it. Like, you want to make money, but also you got to realize that short-term gain leads to long-term pain, and that in the next year your game could be dead because you keep these people that just have more money are winning, and not the people that are more passionate, the people that put more time into the game. But you can just come in and buy everything, and you're stronger. I wrote Ask Me Clarifying Questions. I learned this from like a How to Use AI podcast. I think I'm a pretty good AI user, but it's always good to learn. And it says always add the Ask Me Clarifying Questions because one, asking clarifying questions is always a good thing. But I really wanted to take this to outside of my own life and look at having other people ask me clarifying questions or me asking clarifying questions to other people, because I think it shows interest. Like, if you ask people to explain more, to really, like, I guess explain rather than just to say, then I think it shows that you're more interested. I am a more curious person, so I guess I try to in general. And then I wrote, I'm really happy, and I wrote, I'm a lot more caring. I wrote a lot more caring because I think I have more clarity in life. I just see things, and I guess maybe it's not always right, or it's not, maybe the way I'm approaching life isn't right, and maybe if like 5 years from now I'll learn what is the right way, but also I don't think there is a right way. But yeah, I think I have a lot more clarity in life. I have a lot more understanding of who I am, of what I want in life. And because of that, I think I have more control of my life. And because I have more control of my life, I think I've become more generous of a person. Or maybe that's just who I am as a person. I'm a little bit more generous. I used to always, like, I don't really tip beggars for the most part. And it's not because I don't want them to eat or I don't want them to have money. But it's because of two main reasons. One, I'm a beggar right now. I have, like, very little money. Maybe once I have millions of dollars, I know once I have millions of dollars, I will give back to people. But it almost takes money to make money. And so if I'm just giving away money, I'm also giving away my potential in my own mind. And then the second reason is begging isn't working. It's almost like I also don't tip at restaurants if they don't serve me. If they just hand it to me, like, when I'm paying, then I'm not going to tip you because you didn't do anything outside of your job. So I feel like tipping should be for special occasions. If you're doing something for me that's generous, then I'll be generous back. I have found a lot in life that I feel like I'm being more generous to other people and not really getting back, I guess, the same in monetary value, but it's not about money in my mind. It's really just about the action itself. Like, if I buy a dinner and it's $100 and then you buy a dinner, it's only $40, I don't really care so much that whatever I spent $60 more because you showed that you were willing to pay for me, right? Like, we have this mutual generosity going, and with those type of people, I like to be more generous with, because I know that they're also generous and they're gonna get me back. But I feel like with people that I do something for them and then I feel like they don't really appreciate it, maybe that's what it is, appreciation, but that they don't really appreciate it, then I'm not gonna be that generous of a person. And so, especially if I don't know somebody, I guess going back to the people on the street, like, begging for money, I feel like you should try to do something, right? And if that's working at McDonald's, if that's bagging groceries, do something. Like, and then if you were to bag groceries and then ask for a tip, I would be more likely to give you a tip. But that's because you're actually showing hard work and effort. I feel like I know that if I don't think you're going to be successful in life, I guess I'd rather just give it to myself. And maybe that's a little selfish after I was just saying I'm generous, but I can give you more later than I can give you right now. And that's just a fact. Well, this was a good sentence recap. I probably didn't have as much as I thought I did. Look at my hair, it's a little bit funky right now. But it's good to be back. I think I haven't reflected in a while. I didn't really get to reflect too much because I had so much material just to get through. But we'll be back for this next week. It's my grandpa's birthday. He's turning 90, so I'm going to go back home for a little bit. But I'll make sure to film. I'll make sure to write down my thoughts and we'll get back on track. It's great talking with y'all. Hope everyone's life is doing good. Have a great morning, great evening, and great night. Sending out.
My bad. It's like I've been smooth for so long, I'm trying to get rough. Fuck buffing my nails, dog, I'm trying to get buff. Fuck shaping my beard up like it's rough. Fuck the hills, cause I'm living my life in the cut. Can't imagine when I'm gonna meet my wife in the club. We gon' see though, I feel like she more of a CEO. Or maybe she doing volunteer work in Rio. It's not like I need her, but I would love to meet her. Another day, another dollar, another phone with another feature. I don't play goalie, but I'm my brother's keeper. Surrounded by family, I'm not with other people. They say I got my brother's demeanor and mother's features. The garden's still private as ever, the gang driving together. Your boys striving to be the most dominant ever. The hardest white boy since the one who rapped about vomit and sweaters. And hold the comments, cause I promise you I'm honestly better than whoever came to your head right then. they ain't cut from the same thread like him. They don't study doing work to get ahead like him. They don't toss and turn in the fucking bed like him. Cause they don't love it, they don't love it. 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 I've been laid back so long, I'm trying to get turned. Fuck searching my name, dog, that's like to get hurt. Fuck being likable, I'm trying to be unbreakable. I just realized that this whole game is takeable if I want it. Yeah, I do, yes I want it. I don't care how you feel about it, I do what I want. I used to look up to the people that I'm moving in front of. It's not that crazy anymore, my city used to it come up. Bryce and Jack G, James is up next, the rest is up to me. These lanes is upset, my peers get upstage, the fans are upset. My city is upcoming, these people are oppressed, and I'm gonna change things. I'm up in Carmichael's trying to get on the same page. I heard about the rapper that you claim was a mainstay. They had a nice